know what it feels like to keep making promises to yourself which sound really appealing and they feel so good to live out in your head, but when it actually comes to executing, it's a different story. As much as I dreamed about it and as much as I would be so motivated to get up and do it when I'm just about to go to sleep at night, I just could never seem to fully commit myself to the things that I wanted to do. I feel like everybody loves to jump on the bandwagon of exit your lazy girl era and telling you that you don't have motivation and fucking shouting at you on YouTube and TikTok, but they don't actually consider the fact that a lot of us aren't lazy. We're just overwhelmed and crippled with decision fatigue that we can't actually do anything with our life. Like, we can't seem to make anything happen. Hello my darlings and welcome back to Voice Notes from your bestie. It has been a minute since I filmed a video. I gave myself a couple weeks off of filming videos because I have been in the process of moving house, as you can see by my background, which is giving like nothing right now. Today's video is for my girlies who really struggle being a woman of their word. I feel like I struggled with this for so long. Like, I really just couldn't commit to anything that I said that I was gonna do. As much as I dreamed about it and as much as I would be so motivated to get up and do it when I'm just about to go to sleep at night, I just could never seem to fully commit myself to the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to start a YouTube channel for the longest time, and it took me, I'm not gonna lie, it took me like 5-6 years to actually finally pick up a camera and start a YouTube channel. I wanted to get into a consistent gym routine for so many years, and it took me so long to get to that point as well. So I know what it feels like to keep making promises to yourself which sound really appealing and they feel so good to live out in your head, but when it actually comes to executing, it's a different story. There is absolutely no shame whatsoever in feeling this way. There is no shame in not being a woman of your word. I know there's a big stigma around it and people talk about integrity and all that kind of stuff, but if you're in that position where you feel like you just can't keep your promises to yourself, I just want to tell you that it's completely normal and we're kind of set up to feel like this way. We can literally pick up our phones, watch an influencer's 5 a.m. morning routine and live vicariously through them. We don't have to move a single muscle. We can still get that same kind of feeling watching their content as we would if we was actually doing it, except we don't have the natural endorphins of knowing that we've accomplished something and that we've done something for ourselves. So it is very easy for us to just be in the trap of watching YouTube videos and watching TikToks and pretending that we live that life and just being in this dreamer mentality and not actually getting anything done for yourself. The first thing that you're going to want to do is to give yourself 10 minutes every single morning to brain dump. Get all of your ideas onto a sheet of paper or in your notes app on your phone. Just write everything down. Now, the reason I talk about doing a brain dump in the morning in terms of becoming a woman of your word is because a lot of the time you are not lazy, you're not lacking discipline or motivation, you are simply lacking clarity. I feel like everybody loves to jump on the bandwagon of exit your lazy girl era and telling you that you don't have motivation and fucking shouting at you on YouTube and TikTok, but they don't actually consider the fact that a lot of us aren't lazy. We're just overwhelmed and crippled with decision fatigue that we can't actually do anything with our life. Like, we can't seem to make anything happen. So if you are doing a brain dump every single morning consistently for at least 5-10 minutes, you are gonna have so much more clarity because all of the kind of noise in your head is out of your head, it's onto paper and you don't need to think about that anymore. I think some thoughts that we kind of like hang on to them if we've not written them down or if we've not spoken to anybody about them because we low-key don't want to forget them. They're kind of important to us, but they're not important enough for us to be cluttering our brains with them and allowing ourselves to be so overwhelmed. So having a 10-minute daily ritual of writing down all of the things on your mind is going to help you leaps and bounds. It helps me so much when I am in my productive guilt era and every morning I am consistently doing a brain dump. I can't tell you how much it's like a brain massage. It is amazing. I also feel so much more creative when I'm doing this because I'm freeing up the space in my brain to think about the things that are actually important. My second tip is to fill up your free time. Now, this seems a little bit counterproductive if you are an overwhelmed girly and you are a little bit frazzled from your daily life. It sounds a little bit like, oh my god, another thing that I have to schedule in my diary. Like, I have to schedule in the things I enjoy now. But the thing is, if you give yourself too much unallocated free time, you're not going to use that productively. You are literally just going to see that as free time in your diary, and you're going to end up on your phone scrolling, or you're going to end up doing something that isn't actually conducive to where you want to be in life, or isn't actually getting you anywhere closer to your goals. So something that I have found to help me so much is actually time blocking on my weekends. If I have a day to myself, I don't like to just tell myself that I've got a day to do anything that I want, because I will do anything that I want, and I will do a million different tasks, a million different things that I want to do. I have no order to my day. I just feel overwhelmed, and then I end up going back to my phone again and scrolling on TikTok because it's all too much. If you are actually filling your free time up with things that are intentional and things that you actually want to do, and they're gonna get you closer to your goals, you are gonna feel so much better. And I know it seems like it would be a challenge to fill your free time, like to kind of have every single hour allocated, but it actually makes you feel so much lighter. A lot of the time, the tasks that you have, they're not going to take that full time block, so you are still going to have that time where you can just veg out, you can just go on your phone and scroll on TikTok. But even if that was something that was really important to you, that is something you could schedule into your free time. You could schedule out a 30-minute time block to scroll on TikTok. You could even get those apps where it puts you in jail after like 30 minutes scrolling. Giving yourself time blocks and actually structuring your free time, it helps you so much just get to where you need to be. It gives you direction, it gives you clarity, and it helps you become a woman of your word, because you know that you are taking action steps to where you want to be. I had this revelation when I started my new job, because my new job entails a lot of things that I have to remember and keep track of, and I have lots of meetings and things like that. So I have to be really tedious with my calendar and keeping everything organized, and I feel like that has helped me in my own personal life as well. But yeah, I had the realization that I am putting a lot of time and effort into organizing my work life so that I'm getting everything done for work, something that I don't even want to be doing long term, but I'm not actually giving myself the time to schedule out the things that I want to do and schedule out all of the creative endeavors that I have. Once you are clear on what you actually want to do, which obviously is going to take time, like I'm not saying that after watching this video you'll have clarity and blah blah blah, like it's going to take time for you to really consistently do these things, consistently do the brain dump, so that you kind of have an idea of the things that you want to do or the things that you want to execute. But over time you are going to have that clarity. It is an individual journey for you, but over time you are going to have that clarity and you are going to feel so much better, and it is going to be so much more satisfying to have in your calendar all these little things in your free time, so you're not just giving yourself an abyss of free time to do whatever the fuck you want, because that is just a recipe for binge watching and doom scrolling. I can't think of the words there. Number 3 is to put systems in place. If you don't have systems, your life is gonna be so much more chaotic than it needs to be. I'm starting to feel like this video is actually starting to be like an ADHD coping tool. But anyway, if you don't have systems in place, your life is gonna be so much more difficult, because things don't flow. Everything just feels bitty. Everything's broken up. It's so much more difficult to do tasks if you don't have systems in place. So when I say systems, let's say for example, a system could be like an organizational system in your wardrobe. At the moment, I have no organizational systems in my house. Like we are living out of boxes at the minute because we are in the process of like deep cleaning everything. These wardrobes look okay on the outside, but on the inside, they were dusty, crusty, full of random things. So we're living out of boxes, and that makes me feel chaotic. It makes me feel like I've got no systems in place. It makes everything 10 times harder and longer to do because I can't find the things that I want to find. But if you have an organizational system in your wardrobe and you have certain drawers where everything goes and you know that's their place, they don't go anywhere else but those drawers, and hanging up all the clothes and that is their place, it makes your life so much easier because you have a system and you know where everything is. So in the morning, rather than it taking you 10 minutes to find an outfit for work, it will take you about 30 seconds because you will know exactly where your work outfits are. I know these seem like tiny little things that probably don't make a difference because like what's 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes add up, and you'll start to feel like you just don't have any time for yourself, and you'll start to feel frustrated, and then you'll use it as an excuse to not actually start on your creative endeavors, or to not give yourself the time to really brainstorm and think about the things that you actually want to do for yourself. You will just be procrastinating because you're thinking, oh, well, I've got no systems in place, I've got no time. Like, you do have time, you just don't have systems. The thing about systems is that they do initially take up a little bit of time in the beginning to set up and really get a good system flowing, like really figuring out what works. And I think this is something that I really struggle with, because it does take a lot of trial and error, seeing where things are easiest to reach for, and seeing, like, I don't know, just seeing what works best for you. It takes time, it takes trial and error, but once you've gotten to a point where you know where everything is and everything has a place and everything runs smoothly, you are just giving yourself so much more time for you to actually do the things that you want to do. My fourth and final tip is to slowly build your trust within yourself. The way that you're going to do this is to create small little habits that you know that you can stick to and that you know that you are actually going to do. Rather than telling yourself that you are going to go to the gym 5 times a week starting from Monday, which we all know is not going to happen. Like, it might happen for the first week if you've got willpower that week, but more likely than not, that is not going to happen. You need to start so small, like so small, so tiny. So when I started doing this, my tiny little habits that I built for myself were, whenever I used a mug, like if I ever had a cup of tea, I would make sure that I cleaned that mug straight away. Like, I didn't wait until the next day or coming back from work. Like, I would just do it straight away. I made that a consistent habit. Like, I was almost OCD about it, which I think it can kind of borderline OCD. Like, I do suffer with OCD as well. I don't know if I just said ADHD. OCD. So I don't know whether that helped me in that respect, but to me it doesn't feel unhealthy. Like, it just feels like a healthy little challenge for myself that I'm giving myself. So I just say to myself, like, I don't have a choice. I have to clean that cup straight after I've used it, or I have to clean that plate straight after I've used it. That is my thing. Like, I don't like to leave anything dirty lying about. If I see it, I'm cleaning it. It takes 2 seconds, but it's something that you could so easily just think, oh, well, I'm gonna leave that as a job for my future self. Like, I don't need to do that right now. I can just carry on, like, doing whatever I'm doing. I can have an extra, like, 5 minutes watching a YouTube video, or 5 minutes scrolling on TikTok. Those 5 minutes scrolling on TikTok, they might feel good and they might feel like a nice way to fill your time, but an even better way to spend your time, and an even more fulfilling way to spend your time, would to actually just be to take that plate down and wash it, or it would actually be to fold up your clothes that you've just taken off and put them away, so that when you get back from work, you will feel so much lighter. You won't feel like you've got the burden of sorting out all of these random little tasks. Like, you can just relax. Doing things for your future self and building habits in that way is a really good way of building your trust. You might want to start even smaller. Like, you might want to start by saying to yourself, I am going to drink like 1 cup of water every single day, and sticking to that if you're not a water drinker. Starting so small, but doing it consistently, and even making like a little chart where you can tick off every single day that you've done it. That is going to build your trust within yourself and your integrity, so you are going to feel like you are capable of so much more. It's like a snowball effect. Like, once you start doing these small things, you're going to think, oh, I can level that up a little bit, I can do a little bit more, and it makes you want to do more once you are doing these small things. How are you going to trust yourself that you are going to go to the gym 5 times a week if you can't even stick to the simple little habits? You have to keep it small. I talk a lot more about these topics in all of my other videos on my channel, so if you've enjoyed this video, you are definitely going to enjoy all of my other content. I specifically have a good video if you are feeling stuck in your life that will really help you gain a little bit of perspective and insight, and help you kind of navigate that space. So if that's something that you're interested in, I have it on the screen somewhere. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel and like this video. But if not, I will just see you in my next video. Bye guys, I love you so much.